I pulled my phone out, pulled a picture of Gotham City. I just like hand draw it on like literally a piece of notepad paper, hand it and get points. That dude was awesome.
Real quick, I'm gonna tell thing else. I want to say, Miss Hauser, really, really cool. She was chill. She let us act out Romeo and Juliet that year,
Like
and
every
she
scene.
just like the major ones, like the
Oh,
first scene and then the battle scene or something. I remember there she said we got to fight with like swords and stuff. I've never read Romeo and Juliet in its full. I don't know if there's like a
really?
fighting scene or not,
There's a
but I
lot.
remember we got to fight with like plastic swords and shields and stuff in our class. Anyway, we're going around. We only had like 5 or 6 chicks in that class, and none of them wanted to play Juliet.
What?
So me being the new kid, right? Me being the new kid, eager to make like a, wanted to show off my personality because this was second semester. By this point, I'm warmed up. I know who everybody is. I asked Miss Heather, "Can I be Juliet?" It's like, yeah, sure. Miss Hauser was awesome.
Now
Miss
I'm
Hauser was
glad you
awesome.
didn't act out all the scenes in that movie
Yeah,
or that book,
uh,
however you want to look at it.
and I remember one of the phrases that they used to describe each other their hobby horse or whatever. I think it's Romeo calls Juliet his hobby horse. And for the rest of the year,
Yeah.
me and Josh, shout out Josh, by the way. Josh is cool. Me and him knew each other all the way up till senior year. Me and him called each other our hobby horse for the rest of the next 2 years, just like as a joke. Also, Miss Hauser, biggest LeBron glazer in the world. All right, like
LeBron.
she was she liked basketball. Her favorite player was LeBron James. So like every week,
LeBron
I guess
James.
not every week, but every day. Every day we'd come to class and we'd do like warm ups, whatever. She'd have like sentences up on the whiteboard with like grammatical errors. You had to like go up there and fix, and she'd like let people volunteer to fix it. I remember one day we come in and the first one on the board says the sentence is supposed to read LeBron James is the best basketball player ever, and anyone who says otherwise is wrong. That's the sentence she had wrote out, and it had like grammatical errors like commas or apostrophes in the wrong place and words spelled wrong. I stick my hand up way up high, wanting to volunteer to answer it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
She picks me. I go up on the board. First thing I create the entire sentence like normal. Last thing I do, I cross out LeBron James and I write Michael Jordan over top of it. Go back to my seat. She turns around because she wasn't paying attention to it. She turns back around. She reads it and she's like, "Landon, I should fail you just for that."
How dare she?
Awesome teacher though. Awesome teacher. That being said, that's my freshman year. It's
Dude,
time to get into the rest of my high school career.
hold on, real quick, real quick. Michael Jordan would wipe his nuts on LeBron's forehead, dog.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Anyway, can you see the
I can't,
the
yeah.
staff directory now? Okay. So, Miss Toomey, I never had her. She was across the hall from one of my other teachers. We'd all the time be going over there to hang out. We went over to her class one day. I think it was my junior year. She had like a bunch of sharks that I dissect, and she had an extra one. So she comes over to my chemistry teacher at the time's classroom, like, hey, if you're not doing anything, we'll take some of your, I'll take some of your well-behaved students, and we'll do like a, some of your students who don't have any work, whatever, just to do a, a little shark dissection. We have an extra. So me and like 4 or 5 others of that class go over and dissect this extra shark. And the one we dissected was pregnant, which like had a couple like little tiny unborn baby sharks in it. We pull it out, and this chick McKinley, who's a year behind us, she like we hand it over to her, and she's saying like, "Oh, it's so cute, it's tiny," and all that, blah 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 blah. Shout out Miss Toomey, she's awesome. She has a bunch of tattoos. She's all the time, talking about wanting to get more tattoos. She's cool. She's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I just realized I'm on the last page.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you have
Okay, well,
five teachers?
yeah, I'm
The whole
on the
school?
second page. I forgot I scrolled through this last night. Mickey Williams also I had Mr. Williams my 10th grade year. He was the America at War teacher. I took a class called America at War. Really cool class. He was
Okay.
actually in the military. I'm pretty sure he was part of Operation Desert Storm.
Oh,
He was
it's one of
he was in
the
the thick of it. And like,
bad ones.
and he came back. He came to yeah. We whenever we got up to talking about the war around that time. The war on terror. He brought us like a bunch of artifacts and like pictures and stuff he had from the Middle East.
Hmm. what was his opinion on all that? Did he really think it was war on
Uh,
terror, or
he gave us like a complete, like unbiased, like here's the facts, here's what we went in and did, here's the people I met, here's the orders we got. He didn't like give us an opinion on it. He's like, I remember him telling us like, like it was like very interesting to see like their way of life and all the people we met there and all that. But he never like told us like, oh yeah, I loved being there, or oh I hated being there, or whatever. He very unbiased.
hmm,
Okay, we'll start off here. Now, I will say some teachers have changed, obviously, since I left. But we'll just talk about the ones I had here. All right. Uh, Miss Brooks, she's cool. She's a librarian. I'm pretty sure that's Aiden's mom that we work with.
hold on really quick. J. Michael Ball, right? I'm just imagining a world where like, you do last, first, and the middle, right? And that J is a Jordan, and it's Michael Ball Jordan.
I hope his middle name is Jordan. Jordan Michael Ball. Anyway, yeah, Miss Brooks. Talked to her very much. Like anytime I was in the library, she was always really sweet, really kind. She was awesome, really, really cool. Like you can tell at least she seemed like she really liked what she did. And then I'd like Chromebook errors. I'd go in there if I ever had like a free period and I didn't really want to, hang out in the teachers' room, disturb them. I'd always go to the library. They gave me a place to stay for like, if I had a free period or anything for a day. Really cool. I took him 10th grade year for Principles of Engineering and Technology. We barely did anything in that class. He'd give us like a project every week. We had the entire week to do it. Like Mondays, people like, okay, so what you're going to do this week, you're going to design your dream house, and it has to be at least this many feet long, this many feet wide, and have, at least, two bathrooms, two bedrooms, entertainment space, and basically anything else you want. He's like, listen, here's this free software. It's really simple. You have all week to do it.
Uh-huh.
So, we'd all get our projects done like the first, maybe second day, and we spent the rest of that 90-minute class just playing Among Us or like whatever IO games we could get on the computers at the time, or Tetris or whatever.
Nice.
We barely did anything in the class. He's the girls' soccer coach too. I'm pretty sure he's awesome.
Do you remember
Miss
what
Buffington,
software you used?
I do not.
Oh man, because I was just thinking, you can go on IKEA.com and build a house.
Yeah. Miss Buffington, she was my guidance counselor. She's pretty cool. I only went to her, the guidance counselor like maybe 6 or 7 times my entire high school career.
Any relation?
She's cool. Yeah. Uh, Also, the mother of somebody we work with.
Okay,
She's really sweet.
yeah, thought so.
Uh, Shout out Ty and Lindsay. Ty was really always like hanging around me and talking to sports about me. He's really cool. Ty does all the broadcasting for Seymour Sports, like commentating and all that. He's awesome.
I didn't know that.
And Lindsay
That's
knows,
cool.
yeah, and then Lindsay's pretty nice too.
Honestly, I
Not
would
talk to
take
her as
Ty
much.
WWE. I
I
feel
would
like
I
you'd
would
like
too
it.
if we had an extra ticket.
Yeah.
Oh man, I would
Let's take
say
it
like
next
I would
time.
hold up a sign that says I would hold up a sign that says "Let my friend on the mic." Just to see what he says.
Dude, Ty
No,
is a WWE announcer? Oh my god.
um
There's nothing that man loves
yeah
more than talking on a mic, I'll tell you.
yeah he loves like absolutely roasting people on 3 Point too. Like
Yeah.
he did steal my favorite roast, my favorite joke that I made on 3 Point, but it's what it is.
Oh, I made
And
one today on
he can have it
Spectre,
now. It's
so
his. It's his now. It's his. Uh, Let me see. Rocky Cawhorn. I had him senior year math. Easy class. Pretty boring class.
Mm.
He's not a very personable type. But, he was funny. He wasn't like very out there, very loud. But he had quite a sense of humor. I remember I got to pull up a movie just to like show you this is real. The very last week of class, he was like everybody he taught was seniors. Seniors get out like a month earlier than everybody else.
Hmm.
I'm not joking. We get out like a month before everybody else.
Yeah, that's normal. We did too.
And
Or we would have, I guess.
okay, so he's turning on movies for us. He's looking through all his movies that we can watch. And I'll give you one guess because you're never gonna get it. I'll give you one guess. What movie do you think this man turns on for us?
Oh God. Okay. See, here's the thing.
The very okay. I will say the day before, the 2 days before we watched Top Gun Maverick, not Top Gun 1. We watched Top
Right.
Gun
Right.
Maverick. So the very next day after Top Gun Maverick ends, he like turns on another movie for us. Just any movie ever made. I want you to guess.
Okay. See, here's the thing. I don't know all the lore of your high school. I don't know what kind of movies you guys typically play. In
We watched Forrest Gump and America at War. So
okay, in throughout elementary, middle, and high school, anytime there was some reason we weren't doing class and we were watching a movie, they wheel in the box TV on the big thing.
mm,
They would either play Shrek 1 or The Waterboy.
ooh,
That was for some reason the only two movies that our district had a million copies of. So we just watched those
real
religiously at
quick.
our school. But I don't think it would be either of those because you're
Oh,
talking about completely different movies.
yeah, we're talking about like high school seniors. I will say, I don't remember what class it was, but another year we got to watch National Treasure,
Oh,
starring who?
Nicolas Cage. I
Starring
got a
who?
teacher to play that in class one time.
Yeah, we watched that. I remember we watched Forrest Gump, my America at War class. We watched a couple other things in different classes. I remember whenever I was on yearbook, the one year I did yearbook in junior year, on Halloween, our teacher or advisor, played whatever the movie is, those three ugly, annoying witches. I didn't pay much attention to it.
I think I know what movie it was.
What movie is it?
So he played Top Gun Maverick, the sequel, not the original, right?
Right.
50 Shades Darker.
I assure you, you will have never heard the movie he's played.
Okay. So it wasn't 50 Shades Darker. Oh, yeah, wait. Oh,
Rest in
two.
rest in peace, Department Two, Rise of the Dead.
I,
He
I've
didn't
seen the
play
first
part
one.
one. He didn't play part one.
I didn't
He
know they
played
made a second.
R.I.P.D. two.
I
He played
genuinely didn't know this came
R.I.P.D.
out.
two. Rocky, you're awesome, but what is this? Who are any of these people? How do you
That is
follow
a
up?
no-star cast.
Tom,
What the hell?
this isn't like a B movie or a C movie.
Dude,
No, this is a Z movie.
Richard Brake looks like an off-brand Nicolas Cage. He looks like if Nicolas Cage did crack. Yeah, that's
27% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Hold on, really quick. I want you to look up the Rotten Tomatoes score for. Oh god, I gotta remember the name of it. The Rise of the Black Bat. It's a fake Batman movie.
What?
Yeah, I want because it's like 3%. It's like one of the lowest things on Rotten Tomatoes.
After the what?
Black Bat. It's a fake Batman movie. I
This
can't
is
take
awful.
this movie seriously. I tried watching it once. I couldn't get through it. It's so unserious. I just see pictures of it, and it's ridiculous. I want to watch this full movie at some point, though. You know what? We should do a watch along of this, like a live stream.
Reminds me of
Bible.
this.
Holy shit! I'm gonna have to watch this. It's on Amazon? Hell yeah! I'm totally watching Bible Man.
Uh, I don't remember how I just like randomly remembered that existing, but yeah. Uh, Michael Clabo. I had Mr. Clabo for junior year English. He's cool. He always talked about his son, bowled for Sevier County High School. He's cool. Claybo's awesome. I actually ran into him. Me and Beanie did. We were at the Sevier County Community Center where they had the bowling alley. We
Mm-hmm.
were going bowling one day, and we'd run into none other than Mr. Claybo.
Wow.
Now, remember how I said that Miss Minot was an absolute angel?
Mm-hmm.
Miss Clark is even more of an angel. Miss Clark, like, I'm going to say it right now, my favorite teacher that I ever had through all of high school and quite possibly all of school ever. Miss Clark was awesome. My 10th grade English teacher, She genuinely, like, she cared about every student. Doesn't matter if they were, demon spawns. Typically, like, if they went to her class, like, they were like very respectful, very. She just everybody loved her. She loved everybody. She'd always listen to me complain about my math teacher I had that year. We'll get to that. Uh, Incredible teacher. I mean, like, Miss Clark is literally the way that every teacher should go about her job. All right. Well, he's the band director. I took him junior year for history of music.
Oh,
Uh, like, everyone needed like a fine arts credit. That's like the only appealing one. Like, we all go into the band room. We didn't even have tables. We would just like sit in the band room. He had like chairs aligned facing his little tiny desk at the back of the room, and we just go in that class, listen to music, talk about music. He sometimes asked us to make presentations about our favorite songs and stuff. There's one week we go in there. He's like, I don't have anything planned, so like everybody, you're just allowed to record a podcast episode about whatever you want. It has to be at least 20 minutes long. So me and a couple of my buddies just we go to the back room in the back. And we do a 20 or 30 minute video talking about college sports.
do you have that video?
Oh hell. No, no, we had to turn it in. It was like linked to our school account. Yeah. Anyway,
I was gonna say, that'd be so awesome for us
also,
both to post our first podcast before this one.
oh man,
'Cause we've
also
both
that
technically
class.
done an episode one.
I show up on one of the last days of school. This is my junior year. Junior year. I show up on one of the last few days of school. Purely, I show up to school that day just to take his final exam. Wait first period. No, don't have anything to do. I go into second period where his class is. There, I'm like, you know, I'm like waiting on it. He comes in there. He's like, "Oh, Landon, funny story. I don't actually have a final exam. I didn't have time to make one, so like everybody's just gonna pass."
Wild.
But Mr. Cole's awesome. Really, really funny story. The neighbors that used to live across from me, I don't remember their names, but the neighbors that used to live directly across from me moved out months ago. They got divorced. And come to find out, the woman, the wife of that divorce, was sleeping with him.
Whoa!
I'm pretty sure I can air that out now. I'm
Wow.
pretty sure I can air that out now. No offense to Mr. Cole, I loved you, but I have to air out your dirty laundry.
Did I don't know why this reminded me of this. Did I ever tell the story of when my neighbor's daughter died and they got a divorce and then his house burned down because he was letting tweakers stay in it?
No,
Really?
no, I'm
Do you want
I'm
me to
interested
tell
in
it?
hearing about that.
Okay.
Yeah, sure,
I
sure.
can,
We can take a little detour for a
I
minute.
can make it quick. It's pretty quick. Oh man, was I even in school? Yeah, I had to be. I had to have been in kindergarten or first grade, so I was 6 or 7 at the time. My neighbor, I'm trying to think what his name was. I think it was Diego. Diego Senior and Junior, his son. I was friends with him. I think he was a year older than me. Well, he had a sister that at this point was 2, and
Ooh.
I don't remember what time of the year this was or anything, but I remember somehow that 2-year-old girl had gotten out of the house in like the middle of the night while everyone was sleeping, hopped in the neighbor's pool and just died, just straight up
Oh,
drowned to death. Yeah, and I remember waking up the next day because I guess they had saw a dead kid in their pool and like called the cops.
yeah.
So like there was a bunch of like fire trucks and ambulances and stuff outside, and like all my neighbors were pouring out of their houses. And I know you weren't a kid in the 2000s, so you'll never know what this is like. But in the 2000s, before smartphones were a thing, there was a sense of community with your neighbors. You knew everyone that lived around you, first and last name, and you could generally just walk into your neighbor's house and start talking to them, and it'd be casual sort of thing. Like that's how a lot of me and my neighbors were. Like I was friends with some of my neighbors, and we literally just walk into each other's houses. Like, my friend Casey, lives up in Wisconsin. He has never locked his house once in like the 20 years he's owned that house. You can just go in. He like even if he's not there, it's fine. Whatever. Anyways, so I saw like all of my neighbors like out in the streets hugging each other, crying, and I didn't know what happened because I wasn't old enough to like get like the context behind this stuff. I was just like, I guess something's going on today, And then my parents brought it up to me, and they're like, "Yeah, she died." And then the next day, they were like arguing, fighting in the street, and the wife just grabbed little Diego, hopped in the van, and sped off. And I was like, "Ah, there goes one of my friends. That sucks." And then I guess Diego. I don't actually. Now that I think about it, I don't think his name's Diego. I think it's something else, but that's the closest I can come to. Anyway, so
Pulled a
Diego.
Walter White.
What?
She pulled a Walter White, just like speeding off with the child.
Oh yeah, yeah. I thought you were saying because I forgot his name, and I was like, when does he ever forget a name? Yeah, I get it though.
Oh no.
But yeah, so Diego Senior, I guess, got very depressed. Quite literally lost one kid, now doesn't have custody of the other, and lost his wife. Like all in the span of like 2 days, right? Probably the hardest thing a person could go through, next to like, what Chris Benoit did. uh,
I was gonna say like yeah, like losing a child at all is gonna be tough, but like losing both of them in different ways,
yeah,
obviously,
and
and your wife,
I don't know what was going on in his personal life, but I think he may have like quit his job or got fired or something because his car eventually just like stayed parked in the driveway forever, and a bunch of tweakers started living there, and the place just got just run down. And I don't know if he had like moved out at some point or if he was just staying somewhere else. Or I don't know what was going on with him, but he wasn't staying around there for a while. But he still owned the place and was still letting the tweakers stay there because they were paying him. And I definitely told the story on here, not in this much detail though. Now that I'm thinking about it, but I remember I was sitting in my living room one day. This was right after my parents had got divorced, and I, I don't remember if I was playing video games or was watching TV. I was probably playing video games. It was about the time I got into them, and I just hear my dad yelling from outside, "The house is on fire! Get out here!" Right? I'm thinking he's talking about our house, so I in like shorts, no shirt, no socks, while it's like 30 degrees out, or not 30, it's like 50 degrees outside, like sprint outside thinking our house is burning down. Only to see my neighbor's house burning down. And
Ooh.
yeah, and the fire department showed up and they're like, we're just gonna let it burn. So we just sat there and watched this thing literally just go up in flames, tumble down, and then when it was just a big smoldering pile of shit, they put some water on it.
Why did they let it burn?
I, there's a very, very good chance that perhaps they knew the kind of people that were staying there, and it was better to just get rid of all of it.
Okay, I'm assuming nobody was inside when it happened.
I have no idea.
Now that's
But I do remember the next day, I was outside. I don't remember what. I think honestly I might have been walking like to my dad's. I think he had a Jeep at the time. Yeah, I think he still had it. I think he was like going to drop me off at my mom's or something. I was just walking out onto the deck, and I look over, and I see Diego or whatever the fuck his name is, just sitting in his car crying in front of the embers that were his house. And I'm like, God, this guy actually lost everything. Like that was one of the first like humanizing moments for me as a kid. Like I saw that guy crying. I was like, he literally lost everything. He is at zero right now. That sucks.
I remember. I don't know how old I would have been. Probably like 7 or 8. When we're living still in Kentucky, right? We live up at this like top of this like very big hill, like very small neighborhood at the time we moved there. It grew really big. There were like a few houses up there, but it's like really close to an airport. Anyway, I remember 7 or 8 year old me. I wake up one night, middle of the night, go to the bathroom. I come back. I have my curtain open, blinds up, all that time. I look out my window, Didn't notice it when I first woke up, to use the bathroom. But I come back and I just see a neighbor's house on fire, probably like 800,000 feet away,
Oh,
like on fire. So my parents, fast, like really, really like deep sleep. I run to the other side of the house. I'm like, hey, y'all might want to see this. The neighbor's house is on fire. They come over back to my room because I had the best view of it, and we just like stand there in my room for a solid 15, 20 minutes, just like watching the neighbor's house burn. No fire trucks showing up or nothing.
wow.
Still don't know how it happened.
Yeah, this one was literally across the street. Like it was crazy.
I mean, like if my house is like old house where I used to live in Kentucky was like right here, then like 800 feet this way probably is where the neighbor's house that was burned down was at.
Hmm.
Anyway, on a positive note, get back to this. Miss Cruz, I had her for personal finance and economics my senior year. She's 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 all right. She always talks real quiet. She always had country music radio playing in her class, except for maybe like one day every 2 months. Have like classic rock station on, but for the better part of that first semester of first block, first semester my senior year, I was just listening to really crappy country music radio every single morning for an hour and a half.
Hmm.
Let me see. Mm. Greg Haggard, he's the principal. He's funny. He's a very interesting fellow. He's Mr. Haggard. He's he's cool. Uh,
I got
okay,
a
here we go.
question. Hold on.
Carl,
I got a question. I noticed a lot of teachers have CTE in front of their name. The only kind of CTE
hmm,
I know is the kind I got. What is that?
I have no clue.
Okay.
Yeah, if it's like smart people, then I definitely wouldn't know. But Charlie Householder, remember the teacher I told you earlier that let us dissect sharks? Her room was right across the hall from Mr. Householder. Nobody called him Mr. Householder. Everybody called him Charlie. Everybody called him Charlie. He was incredible. He's just
Okay.
this like happy older dude. He at one point got told he could retire, because he's in his 60s, I think. And he's like, no, I don't want to retire. I want to keep doing this. Like he's doing it for the love of teaching. He's an awesome teacher. I don't know if I've ever told this story. We were learning about the periodic table, and he just like gets him in front of the class. He's giving his lecture about like the basic elements. He's like, carbon is the biggest slut on the periodic table. All right, kids, it will bond with anything. He lets watch March Madness games in class whenever they were going on that year. The college basketball championship tournament.
Mm-hmm.
He let us watch those in class every day they were going on. Uh, he always lets like do like fun experience, like let's burn things. Like we did like burning like little tiny strips of metal and like turn into
Yeah,
plasma
did
pretty
that
much for like.
in sixth grade.
He we had like these little like metal. I don't remember what element they were, but these like little tiny metal cube things. Whenever they put them in water, they explode. So he'd wrap it up in a piece of
Uh,
paper,
that's
like set it in
sodium or
like a giant
potassium.
double. Yeah, probably something like that. Let it like he stuck it down like a bunch of pieces of paper, stuck on a piece of a giant tub of water, let it float, and like 30 seconds later, it just exploded, and then left it left ashes and char on the styrofoam ceiling tiles for forever after that, I assume. Did
Okay, it's
elephant
probably
toothpaste
sodium.
in that class. We changed the color of flames, I
Oh,
think, a couple
that could be
times.
lithium action. Yeah.
Awesome teacher. Were you gonna say something?
Well, I was thinking. You said it left like smoke on the ceiling, so I was thinking that
Yeah, like he left like black mark.
that actually probably could have been lithium then, because lithium makes a lot of smoke when you throw it in water. Unlike, I mean, sodium does, but it doesn't really stick to anything because I believe it makes hydrogen gas, or like
I might have the
I don't know.
video somewhere.
Yeah,
I might have the video somewhere
yeah. It's like
still.
sodium, potassium, and lithium are like the three main metals that explode in water.
Uh,
Potassium's a bit
yeah, I'm.
violent. It's kind of like fiery though. It doesn't make that much smoke. It just burns really hot. Sodium makes little
Right.
poofs, but it doesn't stick to anything. But I mean, lithium makes some scary puffs. But it also makes like really cool like deep red flames that are pretty cool to look at. I like exploding lithium. Yeah, actually, fun fact. If you take a non-rechargeable AA, I'm not gonna do it now, but you peel the foil off it, and then you very very carefully with like an X-Acto knife or no, not an X-Acto knife. You need something serrated because you're cutting through it. There's like a which side is it on? This one's on the negative side. Sometimes on the other side, but there's like a little rib right here. You cut through that rib, right? And as long as you cut through that part, the battery isn't really at risk of exploding. I mean, it kind of is, but whatever. And then you just tap it a little bit, and this big chunk of like black shit will fall out. Basically, just unroll that, scrape all the black shit off, and you're gonna have this like tarnished leather, or sorry, not leather, metal strip. That's lithium. Go throw it in some water, see what happens.
I don't know how good y'all be able to see this. I wait. If I were to send this to you, do you think you could like edit it in?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me. Uh, I don't have to like scroll all the way back to 2022 to send it to you, but it's
Let me get a
in January
timestamp real quick.
22. He showed us how to blow something up in a safe way. Okay, while that's downloading, I'll tell y'all. Probably though.
Okay.
Anyway, so
I got it.
I'll go that in a moment. Taking a what we're doing here. Logan Jenkins essentially does PE. So I had him my senior year PE. He's just like short little dude. He played college baseball for Maryville. Actually, he's awesome.
Whoa,
Really funny,
whoa.
really cool.
Did you just call it
He
Maryville?
yeah, Maryville.
This is Murville.
It's Maryville.
This is it's a U.
It's Maryville.
Murville. Anyways.
Well, okay. I might just have to send it to you like this. Uh, hey, Mr. Johnston. I had him for American President when I was in 10th grade, I think. I also was his TA. The very last period of my senior year, like I'm talking like second semester, senior year, fourth block, the last class of the day, I was his TA, which means I didn't do basically anything in that class. I just sent you the I was sending right now. But yeah, he's awesome. He's the one who lets us watch National Treasure. Cool. He's a very good teacher. I mean, he's Johnston. That's the only way you can describe him. Kelly McNamara, she's cool. She's one of the social studies teachers I had. Paul McNamara, her husband, was the other gym teacher. He's this Scottish dude.
Bro, in
He has like a very thick Scottish accent.
in Fallout New Vegas, you find there's this little like clan from the Brotherhood of Steel that kind of got separated and are lost in the Mojave, and their leader is Elder McNamara.
This is McNamara.
Or yeah, whatever it is.
Okay, remember I told you Miss Clark had always listened to me rant about my math teacher I had in 10th grade?
Mm-hmm.
Miss McNeely is that teacher. Have I ever told you the story about the math teacher who tried to sleep with students show before? And kicked out her daughter being in the house because she spit.
I don't think you ever went into
She always flirted with the athletes I had in that class. She straight up during the 2020 election, like, told us, like, "Oh yeah, I'm voting for whoever." I'm not going to reveal her political beliefs on the show because even I have morals. She'd be talking about she'd be talking about politics in class with her students and stuff.
Who'd you vote for?
She voted for the Trumpster. She voted for Dawn. and and she'd just be talking about her political beliefs in class, like it was nothing. How she'd always be flirting with the athletic students. Like apparently years ago, tried to sleep with some of her male students. Pretty sure she kicked out her daughter. She suspected she was, into other girls. I mean, Miss McNeely, she always took time to explain stuff, more than any other math teacher I ever had. But other than that, didn't like the class. By the way, I just now seen the video of the class teacher just now sent all the way through. Like, do you want to watch that and just tell me what element it looks like
Gotcha.
based on the explosion? I hope my teacher is in it. I hope he doesn't mind being seen by 12 people on the internet.
Uh, there's a chance I can crop
I'm
it
rewatching
out.
it right now.
I'll wait till it loads and we'll see what we're working. Oh, okay. That's fine.
Yeah. Oh, shout out Charlie. Charlie's awesome. And you see it catches fire and just really quickly explodes. So I guess right about now you can edit it in, let people see it. Moving along.
Oh, fuck.
Miss Newen. Newen, she was my yearbook advisor.
That's definitely sodium.
Yeah. Miss Newen was my yearbook
Actually,
advisor. She was, she was alright.
That could be NAC, which is a mixture of potassium and sodium. It's even more explosive.
Miss Nichols, I had her for junior year algebra 2. She was she let's watch I think the World Cup was that year, maybe yeah,
Messi
I think
or Ronaldo.
so. I think she lets watch the World Cup that year. I could be getting stuff confused, but I remember I watched a World Cup game in her classroom. I don't know if it was for her class. We just went in there for whatever reason, but we watched the World Cup in that with her. That's been the only good thing I have from her. Her as a general. I just hated math in general, and I usually would have a hatred for math teachers, but I genuinely want to say I did not have a single good math teacher other than Rocky Cawhorn for the entirety of my senior year. Real quick, I want to tell a story. Me and my buddy Timmy, I knew him since freshman year all the way through senior. We still talk sometimes in Mr. Cawhorn's class. I made a bunch of Rocky edits, right? Because his name's Rocky. The best one I made was I took I put his face over an NBA player, a black NBA player. Rocky, Cawhorn, he's white man. Put this white man's face over the body of a black NBA player dunking over somebody else. Dunking over Timmy. I made one that was Rocky. It's Infinity. It was Infinity War. It was Avengers Infinity War. But it's Rocky in Rocky Infinity or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. And it's just every single character in the poster had his face on it. The best one I made though, I took Rocky Balboa, from the movie, the boxer, right? I took a giant picture, printed off. I edited Rocky Cawhorn's face to be over it. Had a couple copies of that. Printed off. Take it into school. I showed it to Timmy. He's like, "Ooh, can you print me off one?" I give him to Timmy. And the last day of senior year, he signs it for us.
Wow.
So Mr. Cawhorn, Rocky Cawhorn signed the picture of Timmy. Called it Rocky Balboa.
Nice.
So a fun little story I just remember. I still have it somewhere. I might just show that off sometime. Anyway, I had Miss Schultz. I love Miss Schultz, okay? She was my Spanish 2 teacher. Spanish 1 teacher, not at Seymour anymore. She was alright. Miss Schultz, though. Miss Schultz, yeah, we had to take 2 semesters of a foreign language, and I just took Spanish because it's easiest. Miss Schultz, incredible. She loves her job. She said at one point she taught Johnny Knoxville's nephew, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
She would always come into class. She was always positive, always happy. Loved every single student. I mean, I do not have a negative word to say about Miss Schultz. I cannot there are 2 teachers all of high school who I cannot say one 2 female teachers I should say through all of high school that I cannot say one negative thing about. It is Miss Clark and Miss Schultz. I love them both.
Mm-hmm.
I love them both like completely. Miss Schultz, shout out you. She's awesome. Then Brandy Stallings, she's assistant principal. She played college basketball for University of Alabama Birmingham, and I think they made it to the Sweet 16 or the Elite Eight of the women's March Madness tournament in like the 2000s or like whatever. She's not very personable at all. I'm pretty sure it was exchanging photos with a minor at some point who was on the basketball team.
Okay.
That's just a rumor I've heard. I just want to say, so I don't get any legal trouble. I just want to say that is a story that I've heard. Is that she was exchanging photos with a minor who was on one of the basketball teams.
I'll just say for
I'm not gonna say
anything
which.
I've
I'm not gonna
ever
say which one, but it's
for anything
not good.
I've ever accused Ian Shanahan of, um,
Mm.
I fully believe it because I was there. I witnessed it.
What about Scott Howe?
I did not personally witness him molest a 9-year-old child in a Chuck E. Cheese, but I heard the rumors, through the grapevine.
All right, and then obviously we've already did the second page because it went there for whatever reason first. A couple people missing, obviously, but so yeah, I recognize immediately. My Spanish one teacher's missing. What's her name? Miss Davis, I think her name was. She's all right. She's cool. She's from Missouri, I think. She's pretty chill. I think that's most of them. I don't know. Miss Coach Branton's not there. I had Coach Branton a couple times. He was all right. I took a couple, Walter State Community College dual credit classes too that were pretty fun. That's pretty much my high school history. No, I don't like. Again, I may have rambled on for way too long.
No, that's totally fine.
Okay,